this is going to be oddly loud, oddly specific, and I apologize for any noise that's going to happen during this period of time. Let's get some music on. Yes, I know I didn't finish it. We'll go in here with that. I apologize if you can hear any noise in the background, but hey. We're going into today's stream with FNATIC and GAM. And this is a qualifier for the bracket stage. An interesting matchup to say the least. How's everyone doing? As you're probably well aware, it's bank holiday, so I get to do this during the daytime compared to normal, where it's about 3 or 4 hours later than this. So a bit of peace, bit of quiet. I'm really looking forward to today's stream, and yeah, just gonna check my audio levels because I need to do that. Actually, doesn't sound terrible. So let's get going. So, game 1 of the best of 3. We've got FNATIC on blue, GAM on red. Bans are already coming through thick and fast because the broadcasts cannot keep up. That's the issue with internationals. They're always late to draft, which is unfortunate because they can't keep on time. Anyway, Draven, Senna, Rumble banned out by FNATIC. Lucian, Vi, Azir removed by GAM. Kalista first pick, Varus is up, so the response pick can always come through. That's a Gwen. Talia coming through for GAM, possibly, yeah. I think you've got Hui, Ari for Razork. LeBlanc was one of his go-tos. A dog barking is always good, and people shouting even better. So Orianna also up and available. I forgot that's a pick. So you kind of want to pair that with Xin Zhao, Volley, engage heavy picks. Nautilus is up and available. I think you might go Naut here, or Renata, and you kind of then give over to them Ashe. Ashe on the 3 would make sense, or you take the Ashe here, FNATIC, and deny the you deny the massive counter to Kalista, so that comes through. GAM now have to think about their support. I think Naut would work, though it's going to be into an Ashe, which is quite hard to play, so you probably will go Enchanter. If I'm honest, that's probably the most sense-making maneuver. I've also forgot to do something, which is plug in this one wire that I need. Good job, me. So, Urgot, ooh, that's a nice, interesting pick. GAM would want to play it, weren't they, in their previous matchup? And it did some work for them. Obviously, not the most potent of picks in terms of aggression in the early game, but as the game scales, it's going to be really strong and useful for FNATIC. Sorry, for GAM. Now, realistically speaking, we are kind of looking at ban phase 2, TF Naut. Think you'll see a Renata, or Maokai's in. Mao's in, Nocturne ban, so you kind of look at Xin as a ban here. Wukong ban, that does leave Xin open. I do remember this is now a good pick. I would like Xin to be taken here by GAM over FNATIC, because FNATIC really would utilize it well. Lee Sin, if that gets locked in, okay. Been left up against GAM. Levi's Lee Sin. Wukong obviously very powerful in Levi's hands when he played it against Fly. But, yeah. Xin Zhao, gonna come through. No ifs or buts, no maybes. I definitely will, because you're going into poke. It makes sense to go Xin Zhao here for FNATIC. And then round out your draft with your top laner, Cassante into Urgot. You can't really go wrong with that. Something bulky, something frontliney. It's Oscar Rinnin. Give him his Cassante. It's something he's popped off quite a lot on this year. I remember his first game this split, or season I should say, on Cassante, just running it down pretty easy. Anyway, last pick here, Maokai, would be a surprise. But it is support last pick, and that's a hard thing to do. I wouldn't like Mao. I mean, I'd much rather have seen a Enchanter like Renata, so you can play range, peel off these targets like the Xin Zhao and Cassante, and then the Kalista as well, because they are quite short range. Renata would have been quite good at peeling off targets, but Maokai, it's a go-in button. Same with the Urgot, same with the Lee Sin. But hey, that comes through. FNATIC, I think, won out the draft here. And GAM gonna kind of have to suffer the consequences of this one, because this early game, Kalista gonna be very strong in Tavares and Maokai, so maybe a late swap out from GAM squad. I think that would make sense from them. Who knows? It's a very empty crowd, I'm noticing, for a weekend game at MSI. It's kind of shocking. I remember the London MSI having a lot of fans at it, which is another big reason why they're coming back for Worlds, but we go into today's best of 3, FNATIC blue side, GAM red. Talia in top lane. Pretty interesting to see Emo go up here. He's going to be the one to invest wards. In fact, 3 vision wards just dropped down by GAM. That means they're trying to set up something early. Taking a look at ruins. Nothing out of the ordinary. Double Halo Blades in the bot lane for FNATIC. So they're looking to get aggressive early. I'm looking where this Varus ends up. If it goes and stays in topside. They're bringing 4 members up here. Where's Oscar Rinnin? He is here. So he's in a position where he could be jumped on. He will spot the Lee Sin out, and this invade's going to come through. So GAM playing topside for the invade. I'm interested to see what happens with Razork, who is clearing out this camp in front of everyone. So that's going to be the cue from the Maokai forward. Cassante's still alive. But that's 3 members, support as well, of GAM on this top half of the map. So bot side is free for FNATIC to get push, get wave control, because I'm looking where Varus is. So they have lane swapped out of it, which is pretty good for GAM. A beneficial play for them, because you can't necessarily fall prey to any form of early game shenanigans onto the Maokai, because he is very squishy, as well as the fact he's really not a champion pre-level 2. He has a Q and that's it. So, FNATIC, the bot wave isn't necessarily going as aggressive as what GAMs are. But GAM are essentially just securing plates. They want to get as much eco into this Urgot and this Varus, who, let's be honest, once the mini wave dies, Urgot is going to be in a bad situation going into the bot lane of FNATIC. But they're just staying as a 3-man group. And the XP split isn't the best, per se, for GAM. Because you're splitting one wave with 3 people versus 2 people of FNATIC who are a lot better at taking towers than an Urgot and a Varus. So, literally, this wave is going to be in favor of FNATIC. Finally, there's going to be a back out from GAM, who've done a pretty massive amount of damage to that bot lane, top lane tier 1. And now, I wish that there was a fucking sound separator between my room and the rest of the house, but hey, people shout for no reason. So, let's get going with this bot lane. I'm gonna put my headphones in because this is really loud. I apologize. So, TP gonna come through from GAM, and to be honest, they're doing pretty good in responding to FNATIC's play. They're gonna keep Varus topside. TP's gonna come through from Oscar and in, so he's gonna respond to that wave, and it's still a level 1 Cassante, now level 2. He kind of ignored the wave, or everything, to be honest, and just went farming. Now, Razork somehow got a massive CS lead. I'm intrigued how he's done that. So I'm gonna just go back, see how this has actually happened. So, all the way. Okay, so Razork's actually just gone and invaded. And taken all the spot side. Levi is very slow in his clear, because realistically speaking, he's just cleared out 1 camp bot side. 2 camps, he got the Gromp and blue buff, which is kind of nice for him. But yeah, to be honest, Razork's just full clearing Levi's jungle, so there's the massive advantage for him there. Yeah. So we'll speed back to where we were. And to be honest, this position looks really good for FNATIC. They're gonna burn the TP out from someone. It's the Urgot to get the wave. Same play from Cassante. And that should realistically be a very strong position for them. And to be honest, Levi's now in a situation where he's going up top to cover. Well, not even cover, because his bot lane's backed. He's just wandering aimlessly, to be honest. He's not able to get much. And is in a situation where Razork has stacked up almost double his CS. I'm going to be honest. This is weird. Razork could have honestly have split the map even more and gone and taken the second spawning the wolves, but isn't going to play as greedy. He realizes GAM's bot lane is now on the bottom side of the map, and that's their strong point, even though bots are kind of even. Hawkshot's going to come through. Look at the fact that this is there and Hawkshot is so potent for this FNATIC bot lane, it makes them really ungankable. And Razorx knows this, so he can go freely take this Drake, because Levi can't necessarily step up down there without being spotted, so he's going to have to back up top. Probably going to go Grubs. Krugs into Grubs. Makes most sense for him, as the Drake death sound will come through soon, and basically GAM will know that they could take them grubbies. There you go. Talia's gonna help out a little bit, and away we go. Razor just camping in this bot side, and now a 3-man dive onto this tower can come through. Ash just firing in so much damage. The Void Grubs have started, so there's no real response from GAM to this. Heals used. Varus gets under tower. That's a 1-for-1 trade. Razor's going to sack himself to get the kill for the Callista. That's huge. It's good that it's a 2-for-2 trade for GAM, but the kills for FNATIC went to the right people. Razor and Noah got one, whereas both kills went onto his Maokai, the support. So that's not the best or ideal solution for GAM. However, that Hawkshot's going to spot the fact that Levi's stolen the blue buff, so Razor's going to change his pathing on respawn to just go clear out the rest of its bottom side of the map. So we watch this again. Who tanks aggro first? Ash goes under tower, heal from her, forced to flash out, but it's just too much damage. Already immediately put down onto her. Then the rest of the damage comes through. Noah has to flash to get out of the ramping up tower damage, because if he stayed there, he would have died. There's going to be a back denial there by Ash. So yeah. Early game wise, this is fairly interesting, because FNATIC are in a very strong position. 500 gold lead over the opposition. A lot of it is coming in the jungle for Razork, who has been out jungling, stealing camps like a mother trucker, as he's going to get the second blue of the game from the enemy. This is getting revenge for Levi stealing his. And you know, FNATIC, gonna be pretty cool, pretty chill. Maokai could be in a bit of danger, as the Ash Arrow is gonna be dodged. Good work there by the Twisted Advance, but the 3 Talon Strike gonna do a lot of work to keep this Maokai in a bad situation. Weaver's Wall is gonna be used so that the rest of GAM can join up, as Xin Zhao gonna be jumped on and killed off. It's the Oriana. Never mind, Humanoid's down, but Noah's managed to pick up a double kill. FNATIC getting a lot of work done there. It looked like a very scrappy fight, and a lot of this game has been very scrappy. But first, Toriblood going over to FNATIC. No one on top side to make a counterplay, because Urgot hasn't been allowed access. Cassante doing Cassante things and tanking up like a murder trucker. Just keeping the wave. It is slow pushing, however, so FNATIC will eventually lose that. This here, good dodge. Good twist advance to avoid the arrow. It would have just made the kill come quicker for FNATIC if he didn't do that. And that would have been pretty bad, because as a whole, you kind of want to get the kill. Humanoid getting chunked out and jumped on in the top half of this fight, kind of whiffing the shockwave, but as a whole, Noah is just able to free fire in, and that makes this a pretty easy fight for FNATIC. Top side, the Ash Arrow is going to land, and Callista's here. Just auto attack City. Urgot can't land Hizzy, so down he goes. That's just a fish in a barrel being hunted by FNATIC. Great ulti from Ash. Jun, been a very standout performer for this FNATIC squad this year. He has certainly stepped up, but look at this. TP ward in behind Noah and Jun. No, definitely just Noah. can be killed here, but the rest of FNATIC coming down. Jun on the wrong side of the map. Gonna dodge the Sonic Wave. As the TP is gonna come through from FNATIC. They're hunting. Casante's in on the backside, and they're gonna kill the Talir immediately. The Crescent Guard popped by Razork to keep himself topped up, but it's a 1-for-1 trade as the support and mid laners fall on one side and the other. The good thing though for FNATIC is they get to go to Grubs because they're stronger at this stage of the game. GAM not going to be able to pick up anything really off the back of this one. Maybe Levi goes in, but 2 Grubs secured by FNATIC. The Ash Arrow goes wide, and this is something that you have to be very careful of if you're GAM. The Ash Arrow cooldown being incredibly low as the Shockwave's used. Gonna get the flash out from the Maokai as topside Urgot getting jumped on. He needs to flash to get away. Will not go over the wall. Instead he gets in Tofo strike down as Razor picks up another kill for FNATIC. There you go. 3 Grubs apiece at the end of this play. Razork, even though not that objective, he does obviously have the first Drake secure for FNATIC, which will be up now. Just looking at the map positioning, Levi and the rest of GAM collapsing in to this objective. So, this Calista thing will spot it being started. Well, it's certainly spotting Talia there. So, as a whole, FNATIC know that the Drake's been taken by GAM a few seconds earlier than the dragon dying sound would have led on. As topside, Oscar in just going to be content with how he's performing. He hasn't really had to do much this game so far. Considering the fact that he took a very early deficit for himself, he's done well to battle back. He's evened out the CSD, he's evened out the levels. Casante is one of them champions that obviously doesn't really need gold. Similar to the likes of Ornn, Sion. You don't need gold to play them champs, you just frontline and have sustain. So there is that. Now, taking a look at items, Opportunity and Edge of Night for Noah. I learned the name of the item, it's not Namori Quick Blades. Versus Opportunity and Swifties for this Varus. And that is a massive difference. Obviously, one full item up is Noah right now. Who we haven't really had to say much, but he has been able to get picks as a Varus ult goes wide. And we were starting to say how the Ash Arrow cooldown is incredibly low. It gets lower and lower as this game goes on. Like, it goes to 20 seconds at top as it's fired out, and Razor's going to be jumping immediately onto this Lee Sin. The Dragon's Rage kick comes through, but it won't result in a kill. Instead, he uses it to escape, and he does so quite well. Levi, though, has to burn all his summoners to do so, and that means Razor goes straight to this Herald. Objective control from FNATIC playing around this Ash Arrow perfectly. Now the game kind of getting to a point where FNATIC have full control. And it's been a weird one because there's been no real avenue for GAM to get into this. The way they lane swapped early to try and get the advantage for the bot lane, to then immediately swap back into the 2v2, didn't really work as bot side. Humanoid going to be killed here. There's no real outplay for him. Instead, it's the Ashe, possibly going to fall Jun in a situation, but Noah is here to provide safety for his support, and he is going fishing. Calista gets an auto down. Maokai gonna be in range, and this is a double kill already over to Noah. Jun gonna outplay Emo, and that's 3 kills over to FNATIC's bot lane, as somehow, why is Razork in this position? He's just been run down. He's given over a shutdown to this bot laner. Easy Love going to be the benefactor of that one. And, you know, this is kind of a surprise. I want to see how Razork gets Kyle out more than anything, as FNATIC played well to respond to the tower dive. Humanoid dying was kind of inevitable. But yeah. A lot of fighting starting to happen now. And you can kind of sense the desperation out from GAM in this game. There's not really too many avenues they win as... Oh, it looks like they kill off the Urgot. All Out pulls him into a bad place. Well, it pulls him away from Razork, who then gets isolated. The minions die off to tier 2. And so he has no real escape route. And that is pretty unfortunate for FNATIC, as the All Out really does put them in a situation where they can't really outplay him. So we come back to live. Razork and Jun gonna fire out the arrow, but this is a 3v3 starting up, and now Razork feels comfortable to step forward. Now it's 4v3 in favor of GAM, but they're not able to punish. Instead, the isolated member of the Gigabyte Marines is being targeted, as the top lane tier 2 being focused down by FNATIC. They're going to secure that one with Baron up in 2 minutes. I'm intrigued to see where GAM go now, because there isn't too much to play for. 16 seconds until Ocean Drake Levi is down here, so they could potentially make a play for that. But FNATIC are getting back onto the map quite quick. Hawkshot going to be fired out to just see where every enemy of GAM are. But it won't be spotting out them. I don't even think it spotted Levi until they walked up into range. And there we go. Drake started. Pretty sure that's Umbral Glaive in the Ash's back pocket. So ward clear is going to be pretty easy for her. As Jun going to be caught out. Forced to Ash Arrow. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow, as it's actually called. But he is also in a good situation where he can just use that whenever to get out of sticky situations, especially that one. Jeez, look how much health that mid lane tier 2 one has for FNATIC. It's very tanky, and GAM haven't really done too much to pressurize it. Now, the good thing for them is they're investing in wards in this top half of the map, as essentially, I don't know why I did that many circles. Never mind, all the wards are gone. So the point I was going to make about the fact that GAM are trying to set up control around this Baron has kind of been negated by the fact that FNATIC have Umbral Glaive, they have sweepers. They just clear it all out pretty easily. So, second Drake for FNATIC was secured while we were talking about vision control, and Razork could be caught out. The Weaver's Wall not going to put him in a situation where he's going to be isolated off from his team. So GAM just not in a strong position to make them plays anyway. FNATIC would have collapsed quite quickly. But yeah, big pickup in the Edge of Night, obviously, for the Varus, because it means he's less likely to be stunned up by an Ash Arrow, which is kind of the big thing that he needs to be dodging in this game. Because Jun's going to be firing them on cooldown if he decides to. Because he has one right now. And I think he's hunting. Because he needs to use his volley, threaded volley, to just pop it. And then he'll fire out the arrow onto the Varus. So realistically, FNATIC are just trying to pop as many Edge of Nights as possible. There's only one right now. Don't know if Levi will go for it. Obviously, he has got himself a Sundered Sky. And a Tunneler, I think. I believe that's what it's called. If not, I'm wrong. That ward there is actually huge. It's going to be spotted out now by FNATIC, so never mind. It's a good use of a sweeper there. To clear that one out. But as a whole, essentially what we're seeing right now is a very well-controlled game by FNATIC. They're not really giving avenues of attack to GAM. They're just farming up right now. And if you look at the state of the game, who does farming up benefit the most? Well, I'd honestly say it benefits FNATIC, because you get higher CDR on the Ash Arrow. You can essentially hunt for picks. You are winning out on the objectives in terms of securing the Drakes now. So GAM aren't necessarily in a position to contest, as they're just losing out on control. This ward's kind of huge for GAM. I was going to say it before, but essentially, and this one is actually quite huge, because it allows them to know where FNATIC are and whether or not they're on the Baron. Now, realistically speaking, a control ward just needs to be dropped there. They'll spot it out, actually, with the Scuttle Crab, so that makes this a little bit better for them. So that ward's gone. And now the Umbral Glaive doing diligence, getting a 2-hit onto the control ward there. And FNATIC just gonna push. They can finally step up as a team, invade into the enemy jungle, because they know that GAM want to get a bit frisky. GAM are a very excellent team fighting comp where they want to fight on their terms. And FNATIC haven't really given them the chance because of how much zone control they have. And it's kind of funny, considering you're playing into the likes of a Maokai, who was a phenomenal zone controlling champion, but because the objectives and the vision has kind of been lacking from GAM, because FNATIC have been doing very well in clearing it out, it makes it really hard to go for these massive flanks. And this thing's a nightmare. The hawk shot from Ash is a nightmare. It means that flank angles are just impossible to set up. And FNATIC haven't really given an opportunity to GAM to go for them flank angles. So. Drake number 3, soul point for FNATIC, started up. Just looking to see if any contests will come through. Talir's not moving down, so I'm pretty sure also with the fact that there's a back coming through from Urgot, there's no real contest for this Drake. So soul point going to be secured by FNATIC. And if you're GAM, you're starting to worry, because you haven't really made a play for anything off of that Drake take. Because you should realistically look to counterplay something on the other side of the map. And, well, Urgot backed in the lane that they should have been making counterplay. Oscarinin just cleared up a wave. So there's no real push there. So GAM are in a situation where they're just losing out across all on the map. And Jun just playing bodyguard of the pit. Vision is not going to be gained for GAM down there. And as such, that's another thing we haven't really seen much of, is the saplings from this Maokai. I really don't like this pick, if you couldn't tell. As the Ashar is going to land, that's a caught out Levi, who is going to be able to ward jump away to safety. Urgot's there as well, but the rest of FNATIC hunting. Razork's in a position to jump on someone. But these saplings are in poor positions, can we just point out. It being there means that you have to walk incredibly close to this wall in order to get hit by it. So it's not really doing too much for GAM in terms of controlling the brushes. And yeah, to be honest, FNATIC have done well. They've slowed this game down incredibly by just farming. They're not overextending. They're utilizing the Ash Arrow effectively if they see a target. And GAM are just letting it happen. The game's been slowed down to an incredible crawl that FNATIC are just winning in. The only lane that there's a gold lead is top lane. And it's only 500 gold. And considering the fact that FNATIC have a 7k gold lead right now, GAM are just bleeding. They're just bleeding out gold on the map. Their vision is incredibly lacking, and I think they're trying to look for a play here. They can use the Weaver's Wall to possibly catch Noah out. but they're not going to go for it. Instead, they're just trying to run at him. You could have utilized the Taliyah to go for a pick. Instead, you're just letting FNATIC control your jungle. Yeah. It amazes me the fact that this has happened. So, away we go. Bot side, the Ashar is going to be thrown out. It's going to land onto the Urgot, as the first fight could initially happen here as the Xin Zhao goes forward, gets the flash out from the Maokai, but the Weaver's Wall is going to be excellent from this Taliyah. However, the fact that the Crescent Guard comes through from the Xin Zhao means he stays alive, and FNATIC get the first kill of the fight, as Humanoid's going to be the benefactor of it. Xin Zhao eventually falls as GAM jump in top of him, but Kalista is legendary, and Noah gets to fire in pretty easily. A lot of damage down with that Q, and Varus incredibly lucky to be alive. FNATIC, though, win out the fight. And that's going to mean that they get to go towards the Drake in a minute's time. They've already got set up down here. GAM can't really do too much. As we watch this again, Asharo lands onto Urgot. They're trying to burst out a target to get this tier 2. Which they do. They get the tier 2. They get a flash out from Maokai. And this is where FNATIC like, well, we need to back away. A massive shockwave plus Crescent Guard from Xin Zhao. And it's a lot of low health bars on this GAM side. Fear Beyond Death coming out from the Urgot does work, as it kind of denies Xin Zhao's medley of plays that he was going for. But yeah, personally, it's a very well worked fight from FNATIC, even if it is a 2-for-1 and the tower. But personally, I would say worth it. You don't give over any beneficial kill, as Urgot's going to be jumped on here. K'Sante going to step in front, and now the Crescent Guard and engage from FNATIC can come through. They're going to just immediately kill this Maokai, who's unable to do much. He didn't even have ulti for that play. So FNATIC just going to punish. Pretty easy. Drake should be FNATIC. Soul is on the table as the Shockwave's going to land onto the Urgot. Good buffer out on the E means that he isn't going to fall here just yet. Razork jumps forward as he's got the extra health from the Sun to Sky, and that's going to be a kill onto this Urgot. Humanoid getting back into this game. He was punished early as Levi. He's hunting. They're killing the wave here. FNATIC going to stay around to just stop them from doing too much as GAM turn their tails to the Baron. They aren't going to be able to get it just yet. Levi trying to steal camps, but there isn't any. He finally finds one in the Gromp, but to be honest, FNATIC have Soul on their hands, and the sustain through the fights is going to be incredibly hard to deal with if you're GAM, because you don't have necessarily that upfront, like, consistent damage dealer, unless it's the Urgot, as the rest of your team is burst heavy champions, and FNATIC, if the burst doesn't kill them, they just heal up quite quickly. And they're pretty happy with this game, to be honest. So, now FNATIC can just go for Baron. Or Elder in 5 minutes time. The game feels like an Elder game, with how slow it has been. Double-edged knights, that's huge. So, both ADCs on FNATIC's side of the Rift do have safety, as an arrow's going to land onto the Maokai, as Razor's going to land a Wind Becomes Lightning. The Twisted Advance not going to be used, and that is just a dead Maokai. He doesn't get to play this game, and that's the issue with picking this champion into this sort of FNATIC comp. It doesn't work, and you just lose out massively. Now FNATIC go to the Baron. You've got Kalista. You've got a jungler. This should be an easy secure. You've got bodyguards playing this map. Levi gets negated by the status out from Humanoid. And now the jungler's going to be bursted out where he stands. No Lee Sin. No Baron Steel. No possibilities of GAM winning this game. It's a pretty easy secure for FNATIC. As Oscar Reddit, he's just playing bodyguard on this pit. On this tower, sorry. He's going to go all out soon, you have to feel, as he's just buying time for the rest of his team. He's so goddamn tanky as he gets pulled in to the meat grinder. Urgot, though, will fall, And now GAM are on the wrong side of the rift. They're forced to run away as FNATIC are chasing. Jun looking to slow down the target as Talia's going to be caught out. She's going to blast cone to safety, but Razor's got the closing distance abilities, so he gets to stay alive as Varus is going to be caught here by Jun, but the Fate's Call is going to keep the Ashe alive. It's a legendary Kalista, still getting kills. 10-0 and 7 this game in the tier 2 in the mid lanes, the bonus prize. This is just clean League of Legends from FNATIC, and they're not really being punished. This is a pop-off game for Noah, to say the least, as he's been given so much kills. Anyway, perfect status out from Humanoid, because if he did not do that, he would have been kicked into the rest of GAM, and a possible fight turnaround would have happened. Anyway, let's look at mid lane, and oh, look at that, FNATIC have push. The Baron power play is already at 2.2k gold gainage, and you know, to be honest, this is looking very, very strong. I think we will see a possible Elder Drake take here as Levi's coming in on the flank. Not going to be spotted out just yet. He's waiting, hunting. He's going to be spotted now because he threw out the Q, but FNATIC just going to barrel into the base. 2 inhibitors down, and the Nexus towers are in their sights. They are going to back away because they want to get all 3 inhibitors down and out. As Levi dodges out on the Ashe Arrow, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Would have hit if he didn't. He's just being ran away from the wave. And FNATIC going to keep him running. They know if they get him soon, Elder will be pretty easy. And, you know, FNATIC going to do what FNATIC do. Push on the third lane. They're going to open up this inhibitor tower as Weaver's Wall's going to separate Oscarin from the rest of his team. As Levi is on the flank. He will be spotted if he tries to go in. He's spotted now. FNATIC going to turn on him. The isolated member is going to be jumped on as the Dragon's Rage kick is going to try and get on Humanoid, but a great flash out from the Cassante means that he's not going to be pulled into his demise. The Ashe Arrow is going to land onto Talia, and she is going to be bursted out. It's a double kill over to Humanoid as the Fate's Call is going to be thrown out. Jun is just firing into this Varus freely, and Kalista... That damage is insane, and game number 1 is over. Just like that, FNATIC win the fight and this first match in this series. There you go. Game number 1 in the books for FNATIC. I just was watching that fight again. Oh boy. Clean as you like. FNATIC played that well, and let's be honest, we're kind of hoping for game number 2 to be as clean as game 1. So, into draft we go. I'm going to pause it here because draft is so delayed. Okay, Senna, Draven, Ashe, Vi. I'm surprised FNATIC get blue side again. So the Ashe was the problem. GAM have decided. So, how do FNATIC play it? Well, they can honestly ban the Urgot. They banned the Varus. So, actually, to be honest, do you ban the Kalista here? Because you're kind of being forced to. Jinx is... I'm gonna list ADC options here. Xayah, Trist. Yes, my handwriting sucks, but like, options for ADC are so limited now. So Kalista's gone. You're gonna be down to these like Lucian, Nami. Okay, so that's gonna be Nami here. I think another big pick that we saw in that game was the Xin Zhao. I think that's probably how it will go. But GAM here probably will go for Xin outright if they want to. I don't really rate the Zeri, because you either go in Lulu or Yumi. But Zeri not. You're going aggressive. I think you kind of have to go here, Xin or Orianna. I think FNATIC will preface the Orianna here more than anything. But pick ban-wise, I would much rather like to see the Xin over the Lee Sin. Because you're going to be brawling against a Zeri who will be quite far range. There you go. That makes the most sense. As for GAM, you go your own jungler here. Lee. Again, Levi didn't really get to do much. Nocturne? Or Poppy? I like Poppy into this sort of comp. Instead, you're going to go Rumble, okay. Well, you ban Cassante outright against Oscar winning. Zac as well. I think they're the most sensible bans against FNATIC. Who probably will go with, on their own ban side, Talia. Talia, you've also got Ori. If we want to play ban out mid laners, we could get just a repeat matchup. Wukong banned, so targeting out junglers. Levi's Wukong actually very strong. FNATIC probably are going to be content with leaving up Lee Sin again, because it wasn't really that strong of a performance on the pick for Levi in this first game. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. So, away we go. How will GAM approach it? They banned Yudir. I don't rate Oscar and Yudir from the times that we've seen it, which is... I don't like Maokai being banned. I'd much rather have preferred maybe a Volibear ban. Because this is like opening up... Well, it's going to be like Azir... Jarvan's also a good option right now. All things considered for... Jarvan's a good option. But it's Nocturne. Okay, so... They're leaving mid lane till last. There's quite a few options. Talia, Ahri if it doesn't get locked in here by Humanoid. Talia, you've also got Azir. Ori. I would like Ori here for GAM, to be honest. Because you've got a perfect ball carrying machine in the Nocturne. Plus the Nautilus is good. You've got Zeri as well. I think Ori makes the most sense here for GAM. Ornn coming through for Oscar in. It's a nice pick, personally. Sort of his go-to, to be honest. When he can't play Cassante. Zac's the other one he goes to, but thinking about it, Zac into Rumble is a horrible matchup because you're constantly being burnt down in health being your biggest asset as Zac. Not the best, so Ornn realistically is probably the better of the options. So, I like that. It's a good mover from FNATIC to get that for themselves. So, yeah. Going into game number 2. Expectations. We need to set this. Bot lane's going to be absolute nightmare. Or an absolute cinema for FNATIC. Because Lee Sin Nami is just going to have constant press. Mid lane, Ahri's going to have the early advantage. But, to be honest... it'll even out eventually. So there's that. What about the rest of the lanes? Top lane is just going to be a farm fest where Rumble will get an advantage. But in the end of it, it'll be the Ornn just able to chug and deal with the Rumble as the game goes on. So, on to the riff we go. Game number 2 in this best of 3. Tomorrow's best of 5s, which I need to predict. But yeah, taking a look at items, nothing out of the ordinary, no calls this season. That was something we used to talk a lot about during MSI, was the buying of the call. But hey, no longer a thing. It kind of has fallen out of meta because champs aren't necessarily looking for that big investment. It was Elk who kind of piloted it to some semblance of success during MSI last year. And I'm pretty sure he's still on BLG, so we may see that coming through later in the tournament. Anyway, let's take a snapshot at Summoners and Runes and all that jazz. As the early level 1 invade yet again. They're trying to just split the map. This has been the constant trade, as watching right now, Razork's going into this jungle to get his own invade. So it will be spotted, so it's going to be a split map state. But to be honest, if you're FNATIC, you're kind of happy with the split. Because your bot lane's always going to be winning, as an Ignite's going to be used down onto the solution already. That's a lot invested for a couple of pots out from the solution. So sustain not going to be there just yet for FNATIC in the bot lane, as they've lost all their healing on the Lucian. They obviously do have an army for heals, so personally speaking, this could be an absolute bloodbath. As Zeri Nautilus, I didn't expect him to be this aggressive level 1. Obviously, Lucian Army, once they hit level 2, level 3, will take the advantages. Levi's proxying the wave. They're trying to get a TP out from FNATIC, but the 2v3 will just come through. FNATIC gonna lose Noah, but it's a 1-for-1 trade. The kill's going on to the ADCs, and they're not going to be able to get the second kill. Jund stays alive. FNATIC, I think, while they give up first blood, they could be content with how that one turned out, especially considering the fact they're going for play mid. Summoners traded as, never mind, Razor's going to land a Wind Becomes Lightning. I thought for a second there FNATIC would have got the kill, but no. It's just flash for flash, and FNATIC and GAM content with how it's going, even on the kill board. But that 300 gold you get for first blood goes over to GAM, and maybe another kill gonna come through as the Hex Flash respected by Humanoid. So no kill gonna come through for GAM as topside. Ornn just having to deal with it, to be honest. This is the issue with Ornn early game versus a Rumble. Rumble can easily push down with the Flame Spitter, and Ornn kind of has to bear the brunt of it. So, just taking a look at the jungle, by the way. Kind of even on the camps. Slightly ahead, though, is Levi. But Razor will even it up sooner rather than later. He will get an extra CS hit for the ward. And what do you know? The CSD isn't going to be as different, as Levi's going to find... Oh, he's got a camp there. Topside, though, Ornn being burnt to a crisp. Almost overheating here, so he's going to have to back, respecting the potential kill damage that Kiaya can put down. And so, yeah, going to take it back. Just going to wait to see what he picks up. So, that's a nice inventory of pickups. Ward to protect himself from potential dive, refillables, and then a ruby crystal. So extra health, extra sustain, and he'll be just doing his normal Ornn things. Tower shot does land onto the Rumble. Bot side, it's been constant pressure from GAM down here. FNATIC are starting to rewrite the ship. The solution, obviously, slightly behind on gold, as the energized shard for this Zeri going to be able to provide the extra damage. However, Lucian's just got the kill. Ignite pops Easy love. As that was a simple 2v2 kill. Razork wasn't needed. What a kill for the FNATIC bot lane. Also, the bubble went wide. Can we just point that out? So, Levi's going on an invade yet again. We're just waiting for level 6 on this Nocturne. He's not going to get it just yet, as Oscar in. Burnt quite low. He will heal up with the refillable. But now Levi's coming up to his lane for a potential dive. Equalizer drop down. The top laners could be in danger. Will he flash out? He won't need to. The scrap shield keeps Kihira alive. That's a good kill over to the GAM top lane, as he does pretty well to survive the entire dive, tanking up that tower. Unlucky for Oscar because he had to kind of play that awkwardly. And now, FNATIC grouping up as 3. They realise Void Grubbies are up, so is the Drake. They're prefacing the Void Grubs because that's something Levi really wants. And he's already on this top side of the map, Levi. No vision in the pit for GAM, so he isn't going to stick around. Instead, GAM will secure Scuttle in bot side as Void Grubbies secured for FNATIC, which is kind of good for them. As realistically speaking, they have the more pressurizing comp when it comes to split pushing the map with this Lucian and the Ahri, who can play the map a little bit easier than this Orianna can. So, we're just waiting for this first Nocturnal for any major fighting to happen. Obviously, Drake is up and available. Void Grubs all taken down by FNATIC. I'm well aware that that has happened. So, I expect this Drake to fall pretty soon. If not, FNATIC will secure it as top side. It's going to be Rumble burning through the half bar, as always, of this Ornn, who hasn't really been able to buy much. Obviously, bought himself a null magic mantle and red buff steel from Levi. He hasn't got a smite, so FNATIC could turn towards this Drake as bot side. That's Nautilus going aggressive as here comes the paranoia. Nocturne won't get the kill as somehow Nautilus does. I'm pretty sure that was the ignite, but FNATIC looking to turn this one around. Razor's going in and aggressive onto this Orianna, but will not get any kill out of it. Puts a lot of pressure down, but GAM get the kill of that fight, and they're going to be content as the first paranoia resulted in a bonus gold for the team, basically. A kill's bonus gold in it. So there's that. Good back denial there by Noah. He could do it again. Just cue him. He's done it. He's staying around. And GAM can't get it back just yet to spend the gold. Obviously, they're not too happy that the kill went over to Nautilus. But hey, it's still a kill as the equalizers dropped onto Oscar and forced the flash away. Just looking at the rest of the map, Xin is in a position to go make a play up there for FNATIC to kind of subjugate what this Rumble is doing. As what we're going to see is Nami spotting out this Drake take. Going to force Levi away as Humanoid's pathing down. Bubble not going to land, and the rest of GAM join up with their jungler. So Drake secured. The inevitable objective trades come through that we were expecting a few minutes ago. And, oh, it's the paranoia play. So, yeah, hook lands. Zeri burst with the ulti, and then Nocturne just diving in. Easy kill for GAM. They just invest quite a bit in terms of the ultis to get it. However, worthwhile. And now Levi's realizing his top jungle's been taken. So Razork counter jungling quite well here. But to be honest, Levi's still even on CS. And he's going to be pretty good at getting more farm. As I'm pretty sure Nocturne's clear is super duper quick compared to Xin Zhao's. And to be honest, I'm looking at the junglers more than anything for how this game's gonna pan out, because out and out looking for flanks and picks, you favour Levi. Going for a full team fight and standing in front of the opposition, you kind of have to give it to Razork, as he's building up for that Sun of the Sky versus Trinity Force, maybe? Don't know. What can you build Phage into nowadays? It's changed a lot in the multitude of years. 14 years of League. I'm pretty sure we're in Season 14, but yeah. Bod side. Nocturne is down here. Culling's going to be used. But a lot of damage down. The hook goes white from Nautilus, so potential play could happen, but FNATIC call it off. Not going to overstep. And we're just looking at how this is playing out. It's very scrappy, to be honest. Razor going for an invade yet again. He's hunting for camps to take. And this has been his style all year long in the LEC, as Shockwave's used mid. Paranoia not going to be cast just yet. Could have honestly have saw a dive onto Humanoid there. But instead, the tower dive's been set up bot side. We're waiting for a Paranoia. FNATIC, if they want to TP in, they need to TP early. But will not invest it. The wave gets cut as I just poke my eye. And Void Grub split yet again. This is the issue. Top side, there's a TP. Color Forge God going to be flashed away as Humanoid shows up. A FNATIC going to contest these. I can't see them doing so. Humanoid is up here, but he's in an awkward situation where he could be just jumped on. The equalizer is ready. Grubs are going to be secured by GAM. So 3 for 3 in that respective. This is just a mirror of game 1, except for the fact that Drake went over to FNATIC game 1. GAM got the Drake in this one. So, as it stands, a 2k or a 1.5k gold lead in GAM's favour. And the gold sitting quite nicely on Kiaya. It's a pretty interesting one. Now, obviously, static shift for Noah going to mean that these waves are going to be deleted a lot quicker compared to the components of this Zeri. Equalizer's dropped topside. Kind of expecting maybe a possible tower dive there was Kiaya. He's going to play it safe and get a reset off the back of that. Zoska in. He's not going to fall prey to a dive just yet. He is, however, playing on the edge, using the Bellows Breath. Does mean that he could be susceptible because there's no CC negation against like a Shockwave, but it should be on a low enough cooldown so he isn't feeling afraid of any potential play. Taking a look at items, Stride Breaker for this Nocturne. That's an interesting one. So he's wanting to get slows down. And that's kind of huge if you think about it, because you combine the slows with the Paranoia diving in. And then you hit the Shockwave if you are emo. And you get an absolute deletion of the opponents. However, obviously Nocturne won't have the mass amount of damage you expect from like a lethality Nocturne. And instead, topside, there could be a play. Spirit Rush forward goes Humanoid, who's hunting for the kill. As the Culling's used, that's an easy kill. Once the bubble lands, Humanoid secures that for himself. And that Rumble that was sitting pretty content this early game, going to be feeling a little bit worse for wears off the back of that one. FNATIC punishing quite well. And I'm going to take a look at how everything else on the map is going to play out, because Drake's going to be taken. Mid lane tier 1's taken for Herald and a kill. They're not even secured Herald just yet. Ocean to Soul again, by the way. So Herald's secured finally. Top lane tier 1 should fall. So FNATIC get a kill, Herald plus tower versus Drake and first tower blood. Yeah, I'd say that's beneficial towards GAM because you got yourself second Drake. And FNATIC essentially made that play essentially for 2 towers. That's essentially what it is, because mid lane tier 1 probably will get cracked open sooner rather than later. And you know, that's a very circumstantial play, because you need to have the Herald crash. You need to also get in range to crash it. And Paranoia is going to be used. FNATIC's bot lane could be caught out as Zeri goes forward with her ulti, and she's going to get the first kill of the fight onto this Nami. The turnaround, though, is coming through as Noah's going to pick up a kill, but he is isolated off, and the 4 members of GAM circle around him to kill him off. Now, here's where the plays come through. FNATIC are going to get some tower damage onto this bot lane tier 1, but TP comes through from Kiaya to stop any push from Oscarinin. And thus, it's a 2-for-1 trade in the fight for GAM. But Razork's hovering bot side, so this tower should fall. So yeah, realistically speaking, it's a worthwhile play for GAM. I'm also interested to see if Razork drops the Herald for the play. But it's not looking likely. As topside humanoid's hunting. He's got a shield out from... Oh, sneaky little play. He's not in shops because he's realized it. And now, humanoid gets to flash out the cleanse. The shockwave does a lot of damage, and humanoid's actually going to fall. It could be a 1-for-1 trade here as Razork shows up for the rest of the team. Imperial Mandate. And yeah, Jund steals it thanks to Imperial Mandate, but to be honest, it's not Imperial Mandate, it's Izzy. But to be honest, it's a well-executed play from, honestly, Emo to get the trade kill. Humanoid just didn't wait long enough. And as such, he gets punished. Oscarinin forced to play on the back foot as well because of it. And mid lane, I'm just looking at the items as TP coming in from behind. That's going to be Humanoid. He's not spotted, and he's actually getting into the play as a pick onto this Zeri comes through as a shutdown for FNATIC. Picks him off. Now, who on GAM can do damage? It's absolutely no one. And next to fall will be this Nautilus as the kill goes over to Humanoid. And everything turns up FNATIC. There was Paranoia. Honestly, Levi could have popped that. Maybe have bought some time for his ADC. But never mind, he's going in now as the shockwave lands perfectly alongside the Paranoia. The kill goes through as Noah's first of all, and it's another shutdown onto an ADC. Rumble picks up this Xin Zhao, and the chase down could continue here for GAM. But Oscarinin's so incredibly tanky, he's not going to be killed off here. Instead, it looks to be the Rumble falling as Humanoid standing in front, looking, hunting for the kills. He's getting the chunk damage down, but FNATIC forced to retreat, losing 2, and possibilities of this third Drake soul point for GAM if they get it in 50 seconds. Obviously, FNATIC I think have just dropped Herald. Anyway, they dropped it for the mid lane tier 2. Xin Zhao's in it, so he can't protect his carries. He goes in when he can. And it will be a 2-for-1 trade in the... Never mind. Levi stays alive. Wow. It's a good play from him overall. Oscarinin's just bulky, so he thinks he can stand there and wait for Humanoid to join up with him. But Humanoid thinks better of going in, because they don't know where Nocturne had gone to. FNATIC have got set up around this Drake first. And to be honest, Gamma's stepping into the unknown. They're going to look to get a pick here as Rumble's jumped on. As the Call of Forge God comes through, it hits onto 3. And FNATIC get the pick. The shockwave only lands onto 2. And FNATIC continue to fire as Noah is able to do a lot of damage. The rapid fire cannon providing extra range. And that should mean that FNATIC have won this Drake off the back of that pick onto the Rumble. And yeah, Xin Zhao starting that one up for himself. The rest of FNATIC just playing bodyguard around the pit. And as we were starting to say earlier about the ADC items, you've got Runan's and Static Shiv on this Zeri, so a lot of AoE damage versus Static Shiv and her Rapid Fire Cannon for this solution. So he is going to have a bit of AoE with the static, but mostly he's looking to burst out a single target. And that is a huge thing to note, is the potential burst from the culling is huge. As he uses that, gets his passive procced, he can auto down a target twice, then dash another 2 autos. It's just a really strong combination of abilities that Noah has to his arsenal, and he is potentially hunting for a pick here, as GAM's play can be thwarted due to the Scry's Blue. And FNATIC, this game don't have the same sort of control around the objective, but they are waiting for the paranoia. They're kind of trying to bait that one out, as a potential play could happen here. The bottom bar's disappeared. No kill's going to come through. No play. Everyone backs away. And you know, everyone knows that any potential fight can result in a Baron going over to one team. The game, in some cases. If it's T1, certainly the game, because they will just look to end. So yeah, there is that. And, you know, this series as a whole has been very slow. And FNATIC have been looking to punish GAM whenever they overstep. Whenever they try to clear out vision. And I'm going to be honest, I'm just looking at the minimap. The ward lines for GAM are quite shallow. This is probably the furthest ward they've got. Whereas FNATIC are trying to push it. Look right now, Razork stepping forward into the enemy jungle. Trying to get some deep vision so that he can play for this Baron. And FNATIC know that the Paranoia does a lot of work, because that is a massive culling. Already in incredibly low area, as Nautilus is just deleted. The Color Forge God's going to land, and that is good night, Easy Love. That's down with the ADC. And FNATIC, they get the bot lane of GAM and turn straight towards this Baron. They're going to clear this ward out. You kind of hope they do, because that provides vision for this Nocturne to go for a play. Control ward in the back of the pit. Going to be cleared out here. And now FNATIC looking for the players. 2-man Shockwave lands here for Emo, but he forces the Paranoia out, does Noah, and they get the kill onto this Nocturne. That's going to be the Baron secured here for FNATIC. There's Rumbles on the flank. He has got Equalizer. He could drop this one down. Looking to burn away this Razorhawk health bar, but he isn't able to do so. And somehow, some way, he's being caught on the backside. It's going to be a kill over to this Rumble as he kills off this Lucian. But he's isolating himself somehow in a 2v5. Gamma winning. It's a 2v3 now. As Zeri has joined up with the rest of the team, it's a 4v3. I can't count. The Hulk lands onto this Horn, who's going in. He lands the ult onto the Zeri. That's a dead ADC once again. FNATIC winning out the fight once more. And I swear we've seen this before. The bot lane of GAM gets deleted by FNATIC. And yeah, FNATIC forced a retreat, however, this time. Paranoia. Not going to be used. Levi, go back to farming. Anyway, this is a good play. The Equalizer's dropped down. It gets the Crescent Guard out from Razork, who's just trying to finish the Baron. But FNATIC, the rest of the team turn onto this Rumble, who just kills off Noah. Because the front line that's meant to protect this Lucian just isn't there. They're trying to finish the Baron. Then the continuation of the play, and you've got to give credit to Oscar Rinnan. Just body blocking, allowing his team to escape. He cues through, the slow lands. It's a 2-man knock-up. He's trying to burst out the Orianna. He doesn't get it, but it ends in the bot lane once again falling. And FNATIC doing well. Spirit Rush forward from Humanoid. He's hunting now. He wants the kills. And you know, personally, if I was him, I would continue to look for him. Because this game's gotten really goddamn slow. Like game 1. As, Kulik, flash out, Call of Forge God also used. So they get a flash there in the mid lane out of Levi. That's actually quite big. No flash on Nocturne to get in range to ult in. Or flash out, as that's a massive bubble gonna land. And that's a dead Nocturne. But on the backside of the fight, it's a massive Zeri plus Paranoia combination. GAM winning this fight, but on the backside, FNATIC continuing the chase, as Zinzao's going to get a shutdown onto the Orianna, now forced to run away. It's Oscar Rinin, the only man to survive on FNATIC's side. GAM have turned around this fight, and have gone straight to the Baron. What a play. Soul Point also will be secured. No, it won't. They've all turned off of Soul Point. They've gone straight to the Baron. What? Keep your eyes on Levi. That's all I need to say. Paranoia. Shockwave combo onto 3. The equalizer on top of it. Down go to health bars of FNATIC. The Zeri coming over the wall. Noah's down. Everyone is dying. It's also a good flank angle. And yeah. That's a GAM fight, baby. Pretty goddamn well executed. It's the Shockwave. FNATIC need to play around the Shockwave Nocturne combo a little better. Now we have a fight for Soul. Baron was Soul Point. Baron was secured. FNATIC have control around this pit yet again. They're not wary of the Shockwave combo anymore, as ultimate are coming back off cooldown. FNATIC are pushing in mid. They've secured the scuttle. So all of GAM's positions were made known, made aware. So FNATIC just playing with the vision. Control ward means that they're not going to be spotted. They're just staying out of range. And the Call of Forge God's going to be used. It's a 3-man knock-up, as Noah's already killed off Emo. On the backside, though, Humanoid gets bursted out by Levi. And continuation, the chase from GAM can continue. Zeri obviously has a lot of power. She's very potent, as Soul Point secured by GAM. And this game's getting out of hand very quick. This Zeri, very strong now. Late game Zeri, very, very potent. I.e., in the back pocket. And FNATIC have controlled this game for 90% of it. But here, this fight shows the tides turning. It's just a mass... Actually, I think that's a poor layering of ultis. The Nami ult and the Ornn ult on top of one another, doing the exact same thing. Not the best utilization, needed to have been a bit more staggered. So FNATIC aren't going to get the mass CC chain they needed to burst out a carry. As such... GAM get to fight, and Zeri being able to fight auto attack down with the Qs. Not a very strong position for FNATIC. Anyway, their mid-wave push is still good. It will be cut off, however. And Baron, it's a 2.9k Baron. FNATIC are behind in gold by 3k. Pretty much this Baron has swung the golden advantage for GAM. And so, the only good thing for FNATIC is the Ornn items are coming online. Still there isn't one for this Lucian because he doesn't have the an ornament to upgrade. But the rest of the team have got one. You've obviously got now Death Cap online for this Ahri. That will probably get upgraded instantaneously. Just waiting for Oscar Rinin to path up to Humanoid, which I think he's doing right now. He's E'd over. He's trying to get there as quick as possible. And so, we're also seeing first strike gold for Lucian right now. Oscar Rinin is grouping up with the team. So yeah, he's looking to get the ornament for Ahri. Didn't get in range this time. He is just going to path back down, because Humanoid went top. So there's that. 2 minutes until our next objectives. The gold's still in favour of FNATIC in the bottom half of the map. Though it is very slim. It's that rumble gold that's proving a lot for. Oh, Humanoid invested ulti to try and get a cannon. The good thing is it's on a short cooldown. It's already back up. Like, I don't know why the observers have just shown that. It's not that big of a ulti to be showing being used. So there's that. Anyway, FNATIC stepping forward. Culling's going to be used. They're hunting for the Orianna. But that's a paranoia bursted out. That's huge for FNATIC. Levi pulled the trigger too early. And GAM maybe feeling the pressure. TP used top. And it's a responsive TP. Never mind. It's Rumble trying to escape as Humanoid looking for the pick. He's just waiting for the Flame Spitter to come through before he dashes. And he's just dashing around. That's a shutdown. Humanoid finds the pick. And with Baron up in 40 seconds. Never mind that. It is Baron that's the next play. FNATIC going to be happy. Because that Rumble will not be up when that spawns. FNATIC should have control around this pit. And he doesn't have TP because he burnt it trying to escape. Oh my days. FNATIC have found the pick of dreams. Good work there by Humanoid to get that one for the team. Top lane tier 2 also going to be gained for FNATIC. That's a bit of gold. You've also got Ornn sitting in mid lane, so they're not going to get to tier 2 on their own. And now, GAM. What can they do? It's a age-old question. What can they do here in this situation? 20 seconds now until Drake. Soul if they get it. But Baron is up right now. FNATIC could just get that and look for the immediate win. Soul is a permanent buff, don't get me wrong. But if the game doesn't need it, then FNATIC could give it up. Looking at the combat gold right now, 4k more in the back pockets of GAM for this fight. As that's going to be an Edge of Night burnt off this Nocturne. Pretty sure. And we're waiting for the Paranoia. The shield's going to be popped. It's the Nocturne jumped on the Paranoia's used. The equalizer's pretty poor. As the Shockwave only lands onto one. And it's Noah. And he's just able to dodge out of it. The shutdown comes through as Levi falls. No jungler on GAM's side. FNATIC should try to disengage this. Zeri's popping off. But Oscar in too strong. Too tanky. Not going to be killed off here. Instead it's not. Ortus going forward. The charm lands. Rumble getting chunked incredibly low. Noah not going to be able to get the pick. Instead, it's going to be a trade of statuses. And now, Noah gets to free fire as the killing spree of this Lucian gets to flurry off. The Orianna falls. And now, the continued chase. Zeri hunted by FNATIC. And Noah's going aggressive. The base of GAM being opened up here. And FNATIC, they find the fight. They're going to go straight to the Drake and should also get Baron off the back of this. What a play. What a fight. And you've got to believe that FNATIC just turned up when they needed to. It's a good pick. Simple as that. It's a poor execution of the Paranoia combo. As it only lands onto Noah, but they don't have enough burst to get on top of him. The Culling's just landing, meleeing into him. Double flash trade. But Noah flashes perfectly. Stays alive and kills off the carry that's just providing so much work for GAM. I say carry, the tank. Bellow's breath, perfect from Moscarinin, because he was hooked. And Nautilus was put in range of death. And then it's Humanoid, flashing forward. The status is perfect yet again. 2 games in a row, he statuses on time as, again, a good bubble out from this Nami. Secures the pick. Unlucky with the wind becomes lightning. As if it landed, that was a dead Zerian probably game. But FNATIC, they get themselves a Drake. They stop Soul. Don't get Baron. No vision in the pit for them as well. Jun's probably going to correct that in a second. Never mind, he doesn't have a ward. Also, can we just point out that the only person without an ornament is probably the biggest carry on FNATIC in Noah? The fact he hasn't got that is huge for GAM. Now, you should expect him to get it sooner rather than later, as Oscarin is level 16. TP going to be used here by Humanoid to join up with the rest of the team, and we're back to an ARAM. Paranoia is thrown out as a Call of Watchguard lands perfectly onto 3. On the backline, though, it's going to be Noah free firing in as Oscarin is going to pick up a kill. Never mind that. Rumble falls into status as well, and Ornn gets to turn around here. Summoner's coming back, cooldown's coming back off, and now FNATIC re-engage. Zeri still free firing in, but she could be popped here at any second. FNATIC are waiting. The ulti time's off the Zeri. They're looking to re-engage now. No extra damage. No zoomies for this Zeri. And FNATIC are healing. They're doing well. Topped up and going straight to the Baron. 2 members of GAM down versus none of FNATIC. This should be an easy Baron. No contest can come through from GAM. Paranoia not up. Actually, is it up? I can't tell. It might be up. I swear he used that in the last fight. Anyway, we watch this fight. Yeah, he does. He pulls the trigger, the shockwave combo lands onto 1, equalizer on top of it, but statuses are plenty, and Humanoid survives. He just dashes back out. And that's an issue. Because if you're not bursting out targets with that combo anymore, maybe it's a sign that your build is bad. And I think the big issue is Ori went Crypto Balloon to 3rd instead of Deathcap. And the reason that's a massive issue is because, sure, you need it to burst through carries like the Ornn. But to be honest, when are you ever focusing the Ornn? You're more so focusing the big damage dealer in Lucian and the Ahri. Now you're kind of in a situation where you're just being dove under tower. FNATIC burst out the equalizer. They also get the Paranoia. The shockwave's good onto 3, but Oscarin just stood in front of you. This is why you don't focus him. And Deathcap would have been so much better in this Orianna build. Now FNATIC are just freely taking your inhibitors. And they've got Baron, but they haven't got a wave to play on. Top lane inhibitor is probably the next focus. I'm just looking where the wave is. It's pretty bad. They're already pinging it, FNATIC, so they're going to look to play for that. 3k Baron off of the first minute is pretty huge. And FNATIC just content with that. I think they're going to look to push through mid. The game's gone pretty long yet again. And GAM, what can they do? What can they do in this state? Their combo has failed them for this late game. Charm's going to go wide. And that's the shockwave combo onto 1. It's Noah being... It's not Noah, it's Jun. They're killing the support now. Maybe this is what they needed to do. But Noah, he's free firing in. Razork's fallen. It's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of GAM. But let's be honest. You've got the 3 big damage dealers and one of them being an Ornn, just landing the Call of Watchguard. Good night, Kiaya. Into the backline goes Ornn, and now it's Noah. Forced to run away. He's going to have to do some work here. It's Zeri versus Lucian, and the Zeri is popping off. The shutdown comes through, and the Ornn still alive, though. But all of FNATIC overstep once more. GAM are fighting back into this series, and it's through to Zeri, who has got GA now. But, to be honest, we need to watch how that fight ended so poorly for FNATIC. Maybe GAM went for the right target this time. go for the Nami. That's who you need to burst out. They're going to get Soul off the back of this, which is huge for GAM. But to be honest, how do you fight back anymore? Because you've invested so much in that play to get a team fight win. Elder is probably the big prize that they're kind of slowing the game down for. But Baron, 2 minutes. FNATIC should have control and readiness to get that for themselves. GAM are in a situation where they need to just go for things. They need to play the aggressive hand that they've got a bit more better. Now, finally, on item on this Lucian, the Stormraiser, is picked up. And so, FNATIC can't scale anymore. They're at their full peak, minus the fact that Razork and Jun aren't level 18 yet. Razork will hit that soon. Full items pretty much across the board. Noah has sold his boots for a GA. And wow, Humanoid's just chunking away at Kiaya. So, full build for Noah. And that is a very scary thing, because now he cannot be the target of the Nocturne combo, because he just lives. FNATIC will have a better team fight than GAM coming up. So, GAM have to play on the back foot. Tower gonna be hit. It needs to be hit a few times. The wave cleared though. Oscarinen could step forward and just brutalize it. He isn't necessarily needed to get it. Demolition proc is readily available, and they're going to use it to kill this tower. The inhibitor now opened up, and this will be triple inhib. First Nexus tower's fallen, and the engage comes through. That's a 2-man shockwave combo, but it's not going to end in any kills. FNATIC turning around as Oscarinen gets a perfect 2-man knockup, and they're onto the Zeri. Everyone is focusing down these carries as another one falls. Everyone on GAM is falling, and this fight is FNATIC favored to say the least. Noah popping off as Humanoid also gets a kill, and there we go. Zeri gets hit by a bubble. She's forced into status, and now GAM die where they stand. Shut down goes through to FNATIC, and the game as well. This was a back and forth matchup that GAM did very well in. Oh. But FNATIC, the major region team, stood tall and delivered a decisive blow to send GAM packing. Pretty good series overall. I like this one compared to some of the others we've seen. But it was slow, it was methodical, and it was decisive in the end from FNATIC. And with it, we end our playing stages with an absolute banger. Thank you for joining me today. I will actually, yeah, I think we'll do it this way. We will do our predictions for the opening round of the bracket stage. Don't know why it shows that. Let's go to schedule. So, I need that. I need that. Shift. There we go. So, game number 1. Liquid versus Top. Now, we saw a lot of Top, aka the least amount of games in play-ins for us that we broke down, because we only broke down 1. I'm going to be honest, that one series, they looked a bit shaky against FNATIC, and it was a heavily contentious one. Now, personally, I don't rate LCS teams highly, and it's a best of 5. So, I think what we'll end up seeing is this side losing, picking up 1, So 3-1 to top. I think 369 against Impact's an interesting one. It's a very fun matchup between the two. Because I'm pretty sure they will have faced off against one another once or twice before. Also, Team Liquid. I think they're slightly weaker than what people say they are. Like, the strength of them. APA had a performance of a century during playoffs for the LCS, but it's a hard one because I think they're not the same strength. They're not the same caliber of players that were there last year when they went to Worlds. And then you obviously had the PO6 incident where everyone just said that APA didn't deserve to be on the team and he just flamed him. Kind of funny. But to be honest, I think top will outplay him. However, I do think draft-wise, drafting was a little issue for top. So that's kind of why I'm going to go 3-1. I think at least one game will go over to TL. Possibly the second. And that's the result of that. Wednesday. Oh boy. Genji FNATIC. I'm sorry, EU fans. FNATIC. FNATIC are good. I rated them throughout play-ins. They played extremely well. But, like, to be very honest with you, there were issues with their style of play. And teams punished. Obviously, top, not the best team from LPL, stepped up and did quite a lot of good work against them. They punished the bot lane incredibly well. And if Gen G do the same, chances are FNATIC will lose. BLG, PSG. As much as I'd love to see PSG upset the LPL first seed, I think it's going to be a 3-0 to BLG. Other than the fact that you've got a very solid lineup on BLG's side, it's just going to be quite hard to deal with them compared to, like, this is basically the ADG of last year. And finally, probably the most hype matchup, G2 T1. How do I want to lock this one in? 3-2. I'm baiting you. I could do that and get away with it. Who's getting it? I need to think about this. So G2 are always dominant in the LEC, so there's no real explanation about that. T1 lost in finals to Gen G. T1 very dominant as always, but it's when they get to internationals they just turn up. Obviously during play-ins they were phenomenal. Yeah. I'm gonna do it. Red Bull Gaming, let's just say, gave us this result. So there's that. And with it, predictions till Friday locked in. Best of fives all week. My throat's going to be killed by the end of it. But hey, it'll be fun. It's going to be an enjoyable set of games. Saturday we've got best of fives. Oh, Jesus, we're just in best of five city, aren't we? Tuesday. We get a break on Monday. I get a break day. Fun. We're actually already 6 days into Anarchy. Jeez. 6 days into the month. It ends on the 19th. So, 14 more days of action. I can't math. 13 more days. Shh. 12 technically with a break day. Anyway, my brain is frazzled already, and we've only done a few days of action. So, thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed this stream. If you did, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new under if you want to. And I'll see you guys for tomorrow's best of 5 between Team Liquid and Top Esports. See you guys then.